We found that learning was very poor in Wanpor, but most people overestimated the level of learning in their community and were shocked when they realized how little the children knew. According to the law, communities had a number of ways they could press for change, most of which ran through the VECs. Yet there was very little knowledge of the VECs, what their powers were, how much money they had, or even who was on them. Although village heads tended to know about VECs, they could produce a list of the names of the committee members. The committees were usually inactive. In several cases, even those whose names were on the lists of committee members did not know of the existence of the committees, let alone that they were on them. Both Pratham and the researchers wanted to incorporate best practices from the other states and countries. The results would be most useful if the evaluation tested a program that the rest of the world would consider a good example of a program designed to mobilize communities to demand quality services. To that end, we studied the World Bank Participation Sourcebook as a guide to community participation programs and sought to include all aspects of the guidelines into the program. Superscript 13, which reads Boivin Bantnagar, James Kearns, and Deborah Sequeira, the World Bank Participation Sourcebook, Washington, D.C., World Bank 1996. Back to the text. The program also needed to work on the ground. So the team spent months going village to village, figuring out how best to convey information about both the poor quality of education in the communities and the mechanisms communities had to press for change. How best could one stir up interest in pressing for change? What was it best to have many small discussions or one large meeting that the teacher and village head attended? How could Pratham best steer the conversation on education away from the perennial topic of the food rations for children attending school and back to the subject of whether children were learning and how to improve that learning?